Have you ever looked up at the night sky and felt a heartbeat? Constellations rise and fall. Planets wander, and comets surprise us. But one star, a fiery red gem on the shoulder of Orion, has captivated us for thousands of years. Its name is Betelgeuse. It's a dying giant, an aging red supergiant, and it is destined to explode. What happens when Betelgeuse finally goes supernova? What will we see here on Earth? Will we be safe? Tonight, we going to walk step by step through the most spectacular celestial event we might witness in our lifetimes. First, what exactly is Betelgeuse? Imagine a star 15 to 20 times more massive than our sun. Now, imagine it has swollen to a mind-boggling size. If we put Betelgeuse where our sun is, it would swallow Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and maybe even reach the orbit of Jupiter. Its surface is relatively cool for a star, which is why it glows with that distinctive red-orange light. But inside, it's restless. Giant bubbles of plasma churn on its surface, and it's constantly shedding gas and dust into space, sometime in the astronomical near future, which could be tonight. Or in 100,000 years, the core of Betelgeuse will run out of fuel. For millions of years, it's been fusing heavier and heavier elements. Hydrogen into helium, helium into carbon, and so on, creating an onion-like structure. The final stage is fusing silicon into iron. But iron is the end of the line. Fusing iron doesn't release energy. It consumes it. When too much iron builds up, the core can no longer support its own immense weight. In a fraction of a second, it collapses catastrophically, compressing a sphere the size of Earth into a city-sized object called a neutron star. This collapse triggers a furious rebounding shockwave, but something else escapes first. A flood of ghostly particles called neutrinos bursts outward at nearly the speed of light. They will be the first messengers to reach us, arriving hours before the light of the explosion. Our underground detectors around the world will light up with a sudden, unmistakable spike. For astronomers, this is the starting gun. They'll point every telescope we have toward Orion, waiting for the show to begin. A few hours later, the shockwave from the core finally reaches the star's surface. Disiscayet, shock breakout. A fierce, brief flash of high-energy light erupts as the star's outer layers are blasted into space. And then, the main event begins. From Earth, the first thing we'll notice is simple. Betelgeuse gets brighter and brighter and keeps brightening until it outshines every other star in the sky. At its peak, it could rival the brightness of a crescent moon, maybe even the full moon for a short time. It'll be so bright, you might even see it during the day. Now, the big question. Is it dangerous? The answer is a clear and simple no. At about 500 to 700 light-years away, Betelgeuse is much too far for its radiation to harm us. Scary headlines about gamma rays are for explosions happening much, much closer. For us, Betelgeuse isn't a threat. It's a gift. So, what will it look like, night after night? In the first few nights, Betelgeuse will transform from a familiar red star into a dazzling, brilliant beacon. Its color will shift, likely appearing white-hot to our eyes, perhaps tinged with blue or yellow. For weeks, maybe even a couple of months, it will dominate the night sky. Then, it will begin its slow, graceful fade. For over a year, it will remain an easy target for binoculars or a small telescope, slowly dimming as the radioactive elements created in the blast decay and power its glowing afterlife. Long after the light fades, a beautiful remnant will remain. The expanding shell of gas will crash into the surrounding space, creating a glowing nebula that could last for tens of thousands of years. And at the very center, the tiny, super-dense neutron star will likely be spinning rapidly, perhaps sweeping a beam of radio waves across the cosmos like a celestial lighthouse. But wait, didn't Betelgeuse already do something weird a few years ago? Yes, it did. In late 2019, it dimmed dramatically, sparking rumors that the end was near. It turns out the star basically had a cough. It ejected a massive cloud of dust that temporarily blocked its light. It was a sign of its instability, but it wasn't the death rattle. So when will the real explosion happen? We simply don't know. Soon, in cosmic terms, could be tomorrow, or it could be in 100,000 years. The universe doesn't run on our schedule. Let's just imagine the moment it happens. Neutrino detectors send out global alerts. Telescopes on Earth and in space pivot to Orion. Social media explodes. News anchors ask scientists if we're safe, and people who have never cared about the night sky will step outside, look up, and share a single global story written in the stars. This is the kind of event that turns kids into scientists and reminds us all of our place in the cosmos. You won't need anything special to see it, just your own two eyes. Even from a bright city, it'll be impossible to miss. But if you can, find a dark spot. Watch as Orion rises with a brilliant new jewel at his shoulder. Supernova aren't just spectacular endings, they're cosmic creators. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you breathe, all of it was forged inside stars and scattered across space by explosions just like this one. When Betelgeuse dies, it gives back to the universe, planting the seeds for future stars, future planets, and maybe, just maybe, future life. So the next time you're out on a clear, cold night, find Orion. Look for that bright red shoulder. That's Betelgeuse. And remember that inside that turbulent star, a quiet clock is ticking down. We don't know when it will happen, but we know the script. When the day comes, we'll be here, watching it together. Thanks for watching. If you want more stories about our incredible universe, don't forget to subscribe. Until then, keep looking up.